Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I've been busy, but here we go. Senator Linda Frum, is tweeting, quote, "Why do we have a prime minister who doesn't understand the grave consequences his choice of words can have? And the Organization of American States wants to probe the MMIWG allegation of genocide." Yeah, this is pretty serious stuff. And lots of people said, hey, if you say that, there's going to be consequences. And here are the consequences. Organization of American States wants to probe MMIWG allegation of genocide, as Global News is reporting. And here we go. It says, the Organization of American States wants Canada to agree to the creation of a panel to probe the allegation of genocide against Indigenous women and girls that was made in the final report of the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, MMIWG. Luis Almagro, Secretary General of the organization, which is based in Washington and represents 35 independent states of the Americas, wrote to Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland saying the report laid out, quote, evidence of genocide, and that since Canada has supported independent probes of atrocities in other countries, it should support the creation of one here too. The mere presumption of the crime of genocide against Indigenous women and girls in your country should not and cannot leave any room for indifference from the perspective of the inter-American community and the international community, Almagro wrote in the letter dated June 3 and posted on his Twitter account on Tuesday. Given that your country has always sided with the scrutiny and international investigation in situations where human rights are violated in different countries, I'm expecting to receive a favorable response to this request. Canadian officials confirmed to Global News that they've received the letter and are evaluating it, but they are not yet saying whether the proposal to create a panel of experts is one they are considering. Our government is committed to ending the ongoing national tragedy of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and LGBTQ and two-spirited people, said Adam Austin, press secretary to Freeland, in an email on Wednesday. Canada is a strong supporter of the rules-based international order and the multilateral institutions that underpin it, very much including the OAS, of which we are proud to be an active member. We have received the letter from Secretary General Almagro and will provide a response to this request soon. The panel proposed by Almagro would be what he calls an interdisciplinary group of independent experts. Such a panel was created last year by the OAS to probe human rights abuses in Nicaragua with the consent of the state. The group published a report in December of 2018 finding that there had been crimes against humanity committed by the Nicaraguan president. In response, Nicaragua ended the mandate of the investigation, and while the OAS continues to monitor the situation, it's not clear what action is being taken. Canadian officials say they do not consider it likely that the expulsion from the group of sanctions would be on the table if such a panel were to share the conclusion of the MMIWG report that there has been a genocide. According to the 1948 United Nations Convention on Genocide, the crime is defined as, quote, any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. 1. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group and forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. In Canada, though, the Crimes Against Humanity and War Crimes Act acknowledges a broader definition that states genocide can include not only acts commissioned by an actor, but also those of omission as well. Omission means you don't do something. Because of the different scope of these definitions, there's been debate in recent days over whether it is accurate to describe the tragedy of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls as genocide. Genocide, like all crimes, is an act. To lose sight of this fact is to jeopardize the usefulness of one of the most important tools of international criminal law, wrote one columnist in the Globe and Mail newspaper on Tuesday night. Saskatchewan Justice Minister Don Morgan also questioned the use of the term, saying the killings and disappearances are, quote, a series of criminal acts that may be racially motivated. And there's a little bit more. Link is in the description if you want to read it. But here is press conference last year with the families of, or 2 years ago, June 2017, with the families of missing or murdered Indigenous women. And this is incredible to watch. I wouldn't have believed it had I not watched it myself. And so, without comment, I present to you the first probably 2 minutes, but the whole thing is worth watching. It is incredible. So, link is in the description. Here we go. This is, I think, what led to this. But anyway, here we go.
Most Canadians think that Justin Trudeau is making an effort. I gather you don't feel what he's doing is worthwhile.
Well, have you seen how much teenagers are going missing in Thunder Bay? There's white supremacy, obviously. That's what's going on. That young boy. Yeah.
How can he be blamed for that? I mean, you don't think that anything he's doing is helping the situation? Is he an improvement over Stephen Harper? I mean, what talk about his record? Is it?
Excuse me, did I just hear you correctly? How can he be blamed for that?
No.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Don't speak to us that way.
Stop right now. You do not speak to us that way. We are human beings. And the way that you're speaking to us
is not acceptable.
You are not.
No, stop it. Stop it right now.
We don't want you here. Can you please leave?
Step out.
Step out.
Step out. Then I don't want to hear from you.
You have no right.
You don't speak to us like that.
Very simple question. Can I have an answer?
And this is the problem, the way you communicate.
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm looking for information.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm not arguing.
No, stop. Stop. You need to stop. You need to
stop.
Stop. You're a guest here. And you don't even know how to speak to us. You don't even recognize the tone in your voice and your delivery. And no, you're done. You're done. Next question.
I'll re-ask Julie's question. How do you think?
You want to re-ask?
Yes. How do you think?
You better be respectful.
I'm being totally respectful. I'm asking how Justin Trudeau's record compared to Stephen Harper's record. Do you think he's improved the situation? I think that's what Julie was asking.
We have a holistic genocide happening here.
Don't speak on behalf of Julie.
Could you just answer the question,
I can
please?
speak for myself.
And I can speak for myself. You know what, white people? You've had your voice here for 524 years. 524 years you've been visible, white lady. You've been visible for 524 years. Look how fast your white man comes and steps up for you. Where is everybody else to come and step up for us? I have a right to my voice. I'm still fighting for my voice and my visibility.
We asked the question.
And I'm telling you right now, there has been 524 years of holistic genocide on Turtle Island. We're the ones that are dying. It's not you that is dying.
And I'll just leave it there. My confusion and the question was, how does Justin Trudeau compare to Stephen Harper? And that was the response, and which is why my confused look, why I'm just flabbergasted by the response. This is the response of the left. This is the response when you try to have a rational conversation and try and move things forward. How can we move forward? How does the last leader compare to this leader? Get out, white lady, is the response. I think that's insanity. That's crazy. How is that meaningfully moving the discord or helping to solve a problem? All that did was alienate the reporters who were trying to ask a question. This is 2017. I want to make sure everybody knows. Two years ago, I said it before, I'll say it again. It was a while ago, right? And this is connected to the report. These are the families of the missing and murdered girls. But it's an incredible situation to be in when a reporter asks a pretty straightforward question. How does the leader of the country now compare to the leader of the country, to the last one, who had to deal with the same issues? And the response was to get shouted down and asked to leave because you're not talking to her right. That's so outside of reasonable, rational, helping conversation. Like, how are we supposed to solve a problem with that? What are we supposed to do with that? I don't know how to meaningfully move forward when people aren't willing to engage meaningfully in a dialogue. If they just want to shout people down, how do you manage that? I don't know. And as far as being investigated by the what is this group called? Organization of American States, that's not a small deal. That's a big deal. So, yeah. Here is Justin Trudeau saying on camera, on tape, that dealing with Jane Philpott and Jody Wilson-Raybould and their strength made him, or increased his feminism. I'm not going to play this clip, but the clip is in the description if you want to watch it yourself. We went way over time on this clip. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. We'll just skip that. The last story for this morning is quick. It's a short one. This is the Ottawa Citizen saying federal government steps up with $15 million to replace Ontario's funding cut from tree planting. Oh, right. You remember the tree planting program, and Ontario cut it, so we'll learn about that right now. Environment and Climate Change Minister Catherine McKenna on Wednesday announced $15 million in funding for Forests Ontario, an organization that wants to plant 50 million trees in the province by 2025. The funding is meant to replace cuts to the organization made by the government of Premier Doug Ford following April's provincial budget. The program aims to increase forest coverage across the province by working with landowners to plant more trees on private lands. While it also has private sector donors, Forests Ontario has received the bulk of its budget from the provincial government. Its 2017-18 annual report said 85% of the $6.6 million in income during that year came from the province. The provincial government reportedly cited these statistics, I skipped down a little bit, in its reason for cutting the funding to the program. Justin Lukowski, sorry if I got it wrong, Director of Communications to the Provincial Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, said Forests Ontario funding was removed because its planting rate was insufficient to meet even the original 2020 target. She was referencing 68 million trees planted annually by the forest industry, although those efforts replace trees that have been harvested. Quote, we remind other levels of government that there is only one taxpayer. Lukowitz said in the statement, and we have committed to balancing Ontario's budget in a reasonable manner. Okay, so, the federal government's just trying to replace that terrible Ford government, right? And it's probably because Ontario needs a lot of trees, right? We're probably like the second worst or something like that. Here's World Atlas and Forest Lands by Canadian Province and Territory. Look at that. We're number 2. We've got 53,000 hectares of total forest, almost 54,000 total hectares of forest. Incredible, right? Why are we spending this money? Why are we allowing our federal government to override our provincial government? We have a provincial government for a reason. We have a federal government for a different reason. They manage different things, or they should. But apparently Justin Trudeau wants to white knight for Ontario, and I think it's going to blow up in his face. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca, and man, can you believe this stuff? This is insanity. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.